Hello, everybody, and welcome to VirtualTrekCon with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
We're also joined by David Benjamin Tomlinson, a.k.a. Linus, a.k.a. Cirroc, and various Klingons, a.k.a. a Kelpien, a.k.a. one other surprise character that we will mention in just a moment. Also joined by Mr. Glory himself, Doug Jones, a.k.a. Saru.
I can't live up to that glory part. Stop that.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome.
Both of you, Ryan and Cirroc. And hi, Davey.
Hi, Dougie.
Doing good. It's good to see you guys again.
Oh, and you. So my question's for you two, actually, Ryan.
Oh, good. Yes, I was hoping you were going to begin the question.
Yeah, I know, right?
Portion of the day. Please go ahead.
Well, now, not knowing what season 3 holds, what did you think of episode 1 of season 3? Both of you. I'd love to hear, because
a little too much Saru, personally. No, what do you think, Cirroc? We actually just did a review, and we will be posting our review in just a couple of hours. But a quick preview of that review, Cirroc was singing quite a few praises, right, Cirroc?
I love it. I love the show. The episode was great. It felt like a movie. I mean, the cinematography, the wardrobe, the performances, and the storyline. Just really interesting. And I feel like they just hit the reset button on your show, and we're getting a fresh kind of blank slate. I'm in love with the show right now. I think it's the best live action or non-animated Star Trek that's happening now.
Wow, that's Cirroc throwing high praise to Lower Decks.
Lower Decks, yeah, someone's a fan.
Yeah,
and it's inevitable to hit that reset button when you jump to the future like we did. There's no you have to hit the reset button. We got to start somewhere new now.
Yeah, but I like the way they did it with the new character they introduced with Booker, this Cleveland Booker character. Who really reminds me of an Idris Elba in a lot of ways.
Very much. Me too. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the way they interact together between their characters. I think it's a really good chemistry between the two of them. Great start. I love to see that they did it in Iceland, was from what I understand. And I thought that's a great location. I just want to see a little bit more Discovery crew, the rest of the guys, but I'm sure they're setting us up for that.
A little bit more. Just like a scene.
Where's everybody
just to see what have they been up to, you know? Real quick, Eve England says hello. She's out in Wales. We love Eve England.
Hi, Eve.
Or as we call it in Discovery speak, she's out in Gormagander.
Okay.
Space Wales. That's a space whale.
Are we? Is it comments we want to click on to see comments? Oh, there they are. Oh, look at hi everybody. Oh, look at the comment section.
Wow.
What
did you guys tell us what you thought of Discovery while we speak with David and Doug here? Speaking of the first episode, tell us in the comments. That's what I mean. Speaking of first episodes, Cirroc, I heard a little secret while you weren't quite here yet before we were recording, that one of them actually was in episode 1 of season 3, right, David?
Yes.
Oh, I'd like to know about that.
Well, I played Cosmo Trades, who was chasing Book throughout the episode and got vaporized on the beach at the end.
No way.
Yeah. He was that awesome alien that we were kind of talking about. We're like, oh, who's that actor? And I was telling him, I was like, I'm too busy with this con. I'll look him up later.
You found you.
That was so awesome.
And you were so good, Davey. So good.
Thank you so much.
Now,
yeah. Oh, wow. So a lot of your lines were subtitles.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them?
Because I had to learn a new language that they made for him.
Yeah.
To speak. So that was, I learned it. I can still remember lines because I really went bonkers on it, because learning a different language, like an invented language, is really, really tough because it doesn't follow the sort of ordinary rules that you're used to.
No, like I remember thinking that was in some way enhanced. I was like, did they have a different actor doing that? Is that, because sometimes they'll have like a different actor doing it, one actor acting, the other actor doing the voiceover, because the language didn't even follow, like, not Latin that we're used to, or Anglican or Germanic or even Asian. It just sounded almost like car parts. It's just like, how did you make your tongue and throat and mouth make those kinds of sounds?
Well, I was assisted in the ADR department because they actually recorded some me clicking and that they wove into the thing, the dialogue. But a lot of it was like, to go to Pets to get Tep Chaparral. Like, it was very guttural. It was just like really chunky sounds. I think having learned some Klingon definitely put me in a good position to tackle this one.
Wow.
This guy's a pro, ladies and gentlemen. You saw how quickly he just wrangled that off the top of his head.
And Davey, you had to learn Klingon a couple times as well, which is also not super easy.
Not easy. That's when they said I was playing this character, I was like, yay! And then I got the language files, and I was like, oh, because it's not. I admittedly struggle a little bit with learning like alien languages, so it's just like I have to go to work, but it was exciting to do.
Wow, that's really cool. We had no idea.
I mean, there's no idea that it was you. I mean, you were just completely brand new for me. In my mind, I was thinking, "Wow, who is this guy? This guy's good. Really good adversary for Booker too." Chasing him around in that first episode.
I'm going to boast about Davey for just a minute, if I may.
We're not doing it enough.
No, I know, right? You guys are not even coming close.
Show them how it's done, Doug.
David is such a superb actor, and he is so kind and gentle to the makeup department as they do their applications. That's a biggie. I've always said when I'm asked about my own career, what pushed me forward were referrals from makeup people after I did an okay job acting, but also was nice to work with and did not complain. David is such a dream in that to the makeup artist, and in that he takes on any character very well, but he also he internalizes those characters. He makes them all different from each other. That's why he's such a chameleon on our show. He's played so many different species now, and you would never know it's the same guy.
Already 4 by my count, right? So far that I can think of.
Yes, or species.
Wow.
Right. And that's why we keep coming back for him again and again and again.
So what you're trying to say is David is the new Jeffrey Combs. He really is the new David.
High praise.
Tomlinson, but I mean in the way that they're going to keep bringing him back, hopefully in different series as well, would be amazing.
I would be up for it.
We do have a quick question for you, David, from Elisa Pearl, who's a good friend of ours. She's a great lady. David, did you work with Mark Okrand on the new alien language?
I did.
All right. Doug. I wasn't sure if there was more to
that. That's our linguist. I think he's the one who helped me with my Kelpien as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant man. Good gosh. He's creating these languages as we need them. So, God bless him for that.
Right. And he's so patient when you reach out with a question like, how do I make this noise? He's incredibly like, you do it this way. And he was on Skype when I went in to do the ADR. So he was like coaching on the side. So he was like, he's incredibly supportive, incredibly good to work with, and very, very patient.
He and I had a funny exchange when I had to sing in Kelpien at Ariam's funeral.
Right.
And you might hear Saru sing again in season 3 at some point. I don't know.
It's entirely possible.
Right. For whatever reason, I don't know. But when singing, trying to get pronunciation while singing, I asked him to give me a pass on proper. I said, it's kind of like when the Beatles, sing. You don't know they're British until they start talking. Yeah. So I said, can you give me the singing pass? and so he was so good to work with that way. So lenient on me.
Doug, you're acting as if we haven't already seen you singing in your posts. I believe it was 2 or 3 years in a row now. On your last day or at Christmas or something, towards the end of recording the season, you go out in some town square all by yourself and start singing show tunes and give us a glimpse of Doug on Broadway.
Well, I unfortunately for my neighbors, I lived when I'm living in Toronto. The last 2 years, I was living in the Distillery District, and they do it up for Christmas. It's a huge courtyard that's all very decorated, very lit up. And I would go out there at 2, 3, maybe even 4 in the morning when it's just desolate, but the lights are still on, and I can do a horrible rendition of a beloved Christmas song and just ruin it a cappella. So that's a Christmas tradition I will redo this year as well.
It's not horrible, obviously. By the way, Tom Casey says, showing my support. Shout out to Discovery. Fantastic show. A special shout out to Doug Jones. Fantastic actor.
Love that, Tom. Love you, Tom. Thank you.
And Yvette Blackman says, The Seventh Rule, hosted by Doug Jones.
Doing my best. Thank you.
David, I had a follow-up question to something you said, and sorry to say that I don't remember it. So just imagine that I did say something very clever right now.
What?
I don't remember. What were we talking about before the show tunes?
With the linguist.
I don't know, but I had the linguist.
Please,
yeah.
Cirroc. Please save me, Cirroc.
I'll save you. My question is, David, were you in Iceland for the filming of this?
I was in Iceland. Yeah, I was there for the end scene where Cosmo is vaporized on the beach. I was on a beach in Iceland that day. It was unbelievable. It was.
Can you tell me a little bit about the wearing all that stuff and being? Was it cold? Was it cold in Iceland? I imagine it's cold in Iceland.
It was sort of like spring weather, if I remember correctly.
It was July, right? Early July.
Yeah. So there was sort of like their early. I forget what season it is there when it's July here. But anyway, it was. Okay. It was cool, but I had layers underneath. I'd gotten used to the prosthetic. We had done a fitting, and so I'd sort of found the character. And walking onto that beach, it's like this black sand lava beach. There's the unbelievable clear water, and on the other side, the mountains. And you're just like, I've never seen this before in my life. So instantly you were transported. Instantly you were in an alien. Like, no acting necessary. I'm on another place completely. And then I had a great rapport with the actor who was playing Ethor, a trauma actor named Jake Michaels, and he and I had a ton of fun in that take in that scene where he vaporized me, and it was fun to have that kind of rapport and a friendship in that scene. It was.
What can you tell us about that lobster worm monster that was out there? Was that just like a big, just a dude holding a tennis ball for everybody to?
It was a stick in a green bag for us, and when I saw it last night, I was just like, oh,
scary.
A trance worm. Is that what it was? A trance worm? Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah. For us, it was a stick and a ball.
That's got to be the hardest thing in acting, is when you're acting against something that will be CGI'd in later.
Sure, but because of where we were, because the alien environment was so alien and already so taken care of, I'm like, yeah, I have more acting energy to put towards the stick and the pole, because I'm feeling this right. I'm feeling this prosthetic and the posture, and like it all was an unbelievable experience. It was.
Cool. I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask Doug, when you're doing your performances with a green screen, does that change how you approach things? Or because obviously it's easier when you're in a place that's the atmosphere lends to your ability to perform. How do you feel about green screening things?
Yeah, no, well, it is, of course, it is preferable for an actor to have the environment around you. Like, for instance, I'm going to refer another movie. When I was in Hellboy 2, there was one particular scene in the troll market that was no CG. It was an actually huge built outdoor sort of vendor market with a bunch of creatures crawling around it. all real. When we were plunged into that, it was like it was great to interact with the environment around you. Green screen is a little different. You just have to put all that into your imagination and picture it all there, and still react to it the same. Your job as an actor doesn't change at all, but it's just a little bit easier when you can see it in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's the elephant in the room that we've all just been wanting to ask. So here it comes. Will we be seeing more Linus this season? That's it. We've been dancing around it, you guys. We know we're going to see some Saru, some juicy Saru all over the place, all over season 3. But what about Linus?
Yeah, we'll be seeing a little more Linus this season.
All right.
That's a nice kosher way to say it.
And I'm going to speak up and just say that I love Linus so much. I'm so envious that Davey gets to play him. But I can't imagine anyone doing a better job with it. I wouldn't come close. Whenever he's on screen, it's always good for a laugh. It's a lighthearted moment, and he's so adorable. You just want to pet him. I love Linus.
And I'm still hoping for that Saru Linus chess game or that conversation or something.
Yes.
Those two together.
I want that.
Moment. I can't wait for that.
An away mission with Saru and Linus where they're picking blueberries.
That would be the most wonderful away mission in the history of away missions.
Ever in the world, yeah.
Ever in the world.
Well, we know that Saru loves blueberries.
Yes.
If you were writing Discovery and you had to pick a fruit that Linus enjoys more than any other, which would it be? We ask the tough questions here, by the way.
It is the tough question. I could be making this up, but isn't there a fruit that kind of tastes like it's rotting?
Durian fruit.
Is that, so it would be a fruit like that. It would have there would be a pungenty, there would be a pungenty kind of like a fruit that nobody likes. Linus would be like, I love this.
Ryan's not happy with that answer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, some people are thinking, kiwis. Kiwis is a good one.
Oh, kiwis is good.
Sabrina Wood of the Sci-Fi Sisters. Yeah, so durian fruit. I think that's the one you're thinking of. It's kind of in Indonesia, the Philippines, that area, and it's like against the law to eat it indoors because the smell is so pungent.
Yeah, something like that. That would be about the neighborhood for him. But I mean, he wouldn't again. The thing about Linus is he's a bit awkward, but he's completely comfortable in his awkwardness. He doesn't feel weird about it. And he likes what he likes. No apologies, I like this. I don't know. Ask me again tomorrow.
Go ahead, Cirroc.
Doug, what did you think when you read the script and you found out that the Federation was basically dismantled and there was no more Federation? What did you think about that?
Yeah, disheartened, of course. Because I was hoping that we would find them up and running well, but I think story-wise, this makes a lot of sense to do it this way, because now we have a rebuild ahead of us, and maybe Discovery can bring the old school values to the future with us and help that rebuild with a sense of nostalgia and a sense of loyalty to the Federation that we still are a part of. So I think that's a good writers. I'm going to thumbs up on the writers there.
No, I agree. I think the writers made a good choice. Yes.
To read that the first time and to see those words, I think it's page really early. It was just what? Hugely impactful, and you feel it when you watch it. It's just it's very, very, very big.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to forget the actor. I'm going to forget the actor's name who played that one person who was still holding on to Federation.
Right. We looked him up. I don't remember his name either. Beautifully done.
Gorgeous.
Amazing.
True believer. He was the true believer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He was a true patriot. He's the one who really still waves the flag proud, and he was just like, just to see the look on his face when he's interacting with Michael Burnham, and oh gosh, it was such a tear-jerky ending to that episode to see
the flag folded up so beautifully.
Yes.
Like, oh my, it was just like
I know the reverence for it was just gorgeous.
Right. We were talking about that previously, about like how beautifully folded the flag was in that case. It like kind of almost took my breath away a little bit. I was like, wow, they must have put in actual like a ton of time and effort into folding it perfectly and then making it look so pristine. I loved it. Really
and one more thing I'll throw in about Cirroc's question now. Now that we've gotten to the future and we find the Federation is either non-existent or in disrepair. That question about the captain's chair on Starship Discovery, right? The conversation was, will the Federation want to assign us a captain from the future that understands that time better than we do, to get us up to speed, or will we self-govern that captain's chair? And that would be between Michael Burnham and Saru, maybe, to discuss, as we hinted at the end of season 2. So now that the Federation is in disrepair, I think we have the answer to that question now. It's narrowed the field down for the captain's chair. So come on, baby.
Do you like your chances?
Oh, I don't want to boast.
David.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most appealing things about watching this first episode is the amount of open road in front of you now that we're watching the show. It feels like they can go any direction. I'm so anxious to see, what Discovery's doing, alone in the universe out there. Like, how are they going to get found, and what's going to happen with the characters. But I do think they made a very good choice for the writers did, as far as introducing a concept that we've never really considered before. We usually think of the Federation as a fixture, they won't go anywhere, they'll be here for eternity. And this is really good for us to chew on and think of, oh wow, we could lose it. And
how timely for us too, as the world is now trying to rebuild with this COVID nonsense. Right. This is really, and we didn't know this last year when the writers were writing and we were filming all this whole storyline. Had no idea of the rebuild that was ahead of us in the real world. So I hope that we get through all this as with as much grace as the Federation hopes to.
Very quickly, I was hoping they would bring this up. Gaylenda B says Aditya Sahil was the actor. That's the guy that.
Yes. There you go. And he was fantastic. Sonequa Martin Green, our lead actor, said, because she worked with him, and I think she said that he was such a studied actor in real life, he actually bicycled around various parts of the world, interacting with people of all cultures so that he could just ingest it as an actor. And I think that's why something comes through his eyes that is just unrecognizable to me, because I'm a horrible actor, but he's good. He's good.
Right.
Oh, I'm a hack.
No, yeah, right. That scene did bring tears to my eyes, and I was thinking to myself, am I watching Star Trek? And I'm crying here, and this is bothering me that I'm so affected by it. It was kind of the way that he was talking about his father and his family generationally holding on to this idea and preserving it. And it just made me think of how we have such a responsibility to carry on so much tradition from generation to generation. Mm-hmm. And to be like the last person holding on to like the last piece of ground was kind of something that moved me. Mm-hmm. Just thinking about all the people that have held on for us to be here.
Hey, Cirroc, your video's a little choppy. If you've got any apps open, check to make sure. Maybe you can close those out. I don't know if you've got any open. But I did want to ask you guys, but we did hear everything you said, though. We still hear you just fine.
Okay.
So now we're in the future. I feel like you've probably heard 100 questions already about, okay, so you're in the future now. What next, right? But I would think that there's something very liberating about the fresh start of going into the future, because when you're in the past, we already kind of know how this story ends eventually. We know Kirk and Spock, we know Picard and all that kind of stuff. So there's this, you're kind of writing in a box. You have to write within the confines of what's already pre-existing. But once you move into the future, you can do whatever you want. That's it. We're free. But maybe there's more pressure in that regard. And I was just kind of wondering, as actors, you guys feel that a little bit less because you're not writing this. But do you guys have a sense of whether it's more of a feeling of freedom to write whatever you want and start over, or if it's more of the pressure of, okay, now there are no more training wheels. We have to just go and do, something amazing without anything already surrounding it.
I think it's an opportunity for the writers to just let their imaginations go wild and conceive new and exciting things. And I feel like you will see some of those things. It's a huge creative opportunity for some really bold storytelling, which they've totally stepped up to the plate and delivered this season. So.
Right, and they can step outside of the confines of canon and create and keep continuing creating canon from this point forward. That's been very liberating for the writers, I do believe. Yeah.
Horace agrees with you there. He says Discovery can now create its own canon.
There you go.
And I don't know if you guys realize, but fans take their canon very seriously.
Oh, so I've heard.
You may have seen it once or twice online, the word canon being tossed around. No big deal. Nobody really cares that much.
Often with angry demon faces, emojis thrown in.
The purple one.
Right.
Cirroc, looks like your video is all set. Looks like it's all good. Whatever you did, looks fine.
Okay.
Kind of. So Deadline just told us that you guys are now ramping up for production of season 4 already, which is pretty cool. So we're going to skip all the spoilers of season 3. And what are the spoilers for season 4? Tell us all about, boy, we want to hear all about it.
Well, I guess I was going to say something, but I'm not going to.
Probably can't even say that either.
We're one episode into season 3, and you want spoilers? No.
Well, I think you can tell us a little bit about filming during COVID and the complications that's caused.
Right. Well, I feel we're blessed to be back at work at all. So November 2nd, cameras are going to roll. And the preparation for that has, all of us in the cast for all of us Americans in the cast had to return here with enough time to quarantine for 14 days by the Canadian government standards. And then I already had 2 COVID tests since I've been here. We're going to be tested. We're going to be COVID tested 3 times a week while in production. And then the departmentalization of everything on set is going to be, there's going to be different, department bubbles around. Much less intermingling, fewer people on set. I think, and like David was mentioning before, maybe a shorter workday as well. We're not sure how this is going to go. So it feels like a big COVID dance, and we're going to throw some filming in just to make a show while we're at it.
That's something that I've been kind of wondering is I feel like background actors or people with one line are largely going to get eliminated as much as possible in productions nowadays because you have to minimize the amount of people that are in any given room at any given time. Sure. Do you feel like, and this is just a guess, do you feel like you will see, or we will see, less background aliens in the marketplace, or less marketplace scenes completely, or less people with one line just thrown in here or there?
These are all good questions. It's when I did a movie in LA before I came up here, and the answer to that was that background actors had to show up within a few days COVID test negative, that they could verify somewhere, either on their phone or something, and then they were background and principal cast were kept apart from each other. So I don't know how that's. There's going to be a lot of CG used, I think, from this point forward for the time being, where you film your crowd scene and then you put a principal actor on green screen and you fill them in later. That's kind of what it feels like.
You and Schmidt agree on that.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, David?
I'm fascinated to find out. I mean, they will have been writing this season through the last many months. So there will be an awareness of the situation going into it, and probably some thematic relevance as well. So I'm very curious to see how that is going to come together and what the stories are going to be, and how shooting is going to be kind of a slightly different animal. I'm excited for the challenge of it. I think everyone's excited for the challenge of it. It's an interesting problem to try to solve.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, but it does sound stressful. What were you going to say, Cirroc?
No, it does sound stressful. I actually had a question about how much longer we're going to see this Cleveland Booker character. Is he something that's going to be we're going to see for a long time, or is he going to kind of phase out in a little bit?
I think Doug just gave if I can give that answer, eyebrow raise.
No, that's a friend who knows you well. Yeah.
I just right when you started asking that question, Cirroc, his eyebrows went.
Yeah, all right. I will.
But I don't know. Maybe I read that wrong.
Yeah. Well, he's such a Han Solo kind of a character, isn't he? So I think they're setting him up to play pretty prominently. So, but I hope he sticks around for a while. David Ajala is fantastic to work with. He's such a pro and such a refined gentleman. Even though he's playing a bit of a rogue at the same time, he's got a lot of layers to him. So look forward to that.
Okay. Our good friend Yvette Blackman Tom says the Doug eyebrows equal NDA.
Right. Thank you.
I guess this is another question that you may have been asked a lot of times, but we've never asked it. And I'm kind of curious. I mean, you're looking back at season 3, so it's really strange to be asking you questions about what you shot a year or two ago when you're just preparing to shoot for season 4. But do you remember if there was just like a different vibe for season 3 as far as just being on set between actors, intermingling, or was it just kind of business as usual, like a family reunion, like here we go again for season 3? Did it just feel like you just hit the ground running, or did you feel there was something a little different in the air? And if so, what was it?
Take it.
Yeah, David's definitely ready for that one.
Everybody is always so happy to see each other. And when we're able to get back together, it's always exciting. We are very much a family. And operate as such. And so the excitement and the pleasure of being together and working together is consistent. And because there's this core group of people, it feels largely the same. That's flavored by the fact that we're telling these new stories and in this new place. So I think the feeling was we're excited to get back to work, we're excited to see each other, and we're excited to see where we go.
Mm-hmm. And also the familiarity is a Starship Discovery. When we're in those sets and playing with those characters, of course, family familiarity, it's all there. We do have new sets, we do have new places to explore, new people to meet,
civilizations.
Right. So that was the newness of filming season 3. Was like, oh, this is wow, and technology. We have to address the technology because we're 930 years forward. So technology has evolved, and we're finding out about it step by step and going, whoa, you can do that now. So you're going to have a lot of those wow moments to find.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things we talked about were some of the things that were brand new for us as the audience. The scene where the guy's bedroom kind of melts down into the floor.
Wasn't that beautiful?
Beautiful,
that
right?
Was that was just really cool. And it's great because that's one of the things I really like about Star Trek is I get to see those little trinkets and gadgets that just make my mind wander and make me feel like, oh wow, somebody's using their imagination and coming up with some really cool things. Also the parrot.
Yeah, we love the parakeet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about there, Cirroc. Programmable matter. That is something you will see more of in season 3 for sure.
Oh wow!
It is a programmable matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I did want to point out too. This was something we wanted to mention. Is that I wanted to make you proud, Doug, and the Cirroc's already way ahead of me on this, but we're the COVID thing, the coronavirus kind of forced my hand, but we know that Mr. Doug Jones is an excellent hair cutter. He cuts his own hair. He cuts others. For the last 7 months, I have been cutting my own hair.
Oh, good for you.
I know. And I'm just like, what would Doug do? What would Doug do? He'd probably say something funny here. So I would try to tell myself funny things. And I know Cirroc's way ahead of us. I think you've been handling your own business for quite some time.
Oh, yeah. Not much.
So
it's called a razor.
The question is, David, are you joining in the self-haircutting maneuvers too? I mean, are you getting better or are you trimming the sideburns or what are you doing?
In the very early days, I did cut my hair with a trimmer.
Scary, right?
I had a mirror and I was balancing, and I had
you need 4 hands.
Another mirror I couldn't see, and then I was out for a walk with a friend, and I took off my hat. I'm like, "How's the back?" And she was like, "It's not good." And
Yeah.
I know. So she's bringing scissors. So we went to a park, and she's cutting hair. We're putting the hair in a bag, and
precious.
And she fixed it. And so then, when our workshop opens in the summer in Toronto, I masked up and went to a barbershop that was operating very smart parameters, and then went in and they did it. And so I think it's better left to the professionals. I mean, Doug is remarkable. I'm not that guy, I don't think.
My hair is massacred. But that's what's good about doing Zoom meetings for the last 7 or 8
This is all.
months.
That's all that matters.
It's like, look, I just pushed my hair down, and nobody knows that every single hair is a completely different length. The back looks like a map of Brazil. Like you just can't even. You have no idea what's going on here. I'm like, as long as I get the sideburns close, I guess I'll be okay.
Right. No need to turn your head to the side, either side. Don't go.
I admire that, Brian. I admire your tenacity.
Thank you, but I was just harnessing my inner Doug the whole time. I'm like, if Doug could do it.
Oh, right. This.
Anyway, sorry.
Doug, are you going to be cutting your hair for this season? Are you going to do your traditional?
Oh, this thing's gone in a matter of days, right?
Yeah. My don't get used to this look on me because I'll be posting on my social medias when head shaving day comes. It's an annual event.
It's like a Christmas card.
Yeah.
It doesn't
How
seem
do
like
you guys?
Go ahead, Saru.
Sorry. How do you guys stay in such great shape, Doug, David? You guys are like slim and like. Is there something that you're doing that's
Sexy,
diet-wise?
attractive as hell, gorgeous.
And then there's Doug.
How can we be like you guys? How can we be like you?
What's your secret?
Do I have to limit myself to one meal a day? I'm trying my best.
For me, it's been a mix of yoga, which I've been doing for many years. This summer, I started training on a slackline. I wanted to find something that I could go to a park and do on my own, so I took up slacklining. So I spent a huge amount of time over the summer on a slackline, which is a great, very focused kind of balance and strength training.
Right. And that's the thing where you're like, it's like a cable tied between 2 trees or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a flat 2-inch band of fabric between 2 trees, and you balance. And
It looks hard.
it's very hard, which is what I was so excited about when I first tried it. I'm like, oh, this is really tough. Oh, I want to get good at this. So doing that and lots of cycling, I guess it's just, keeping busy and I know what my body likes, and I just keep adding things to do that my body likes. What about you, Doug? Do you have a regimen? You work with a trainer, yeah?
Do you know what your body likes?
We can't talk about that online, unfortunately. If you look at my social medias, you'll see a post here and there with wellness coach Steve Atlas, who is like this big, buff, amazing man. And he's all about flexibility, mobility, in addition to strength and the aging process. He's very, very careful with us as we age. And I just turned 60 this year. So his main focus is giving me a program to keep on that will keep me in motion and flexible and mobile. So I have been doing some little weight training and here that I've been in quarantine, I had brought my resistance bands with me, so I've been looping them around anything that'll hold them before I tear something off the ceiling. Another key thing is I think I've always been a tall, skinny person. I don't know about you, Dave, forever, right? So we kind of fit in the ectomorph family of body types. I've always been able to eat whatever I want, whenever I want, and I've stayed as skinny as a rail until about a year ago. I started, so all of a sudden I was like, hey, where did that little bit come from?
So metabolism caught up at 59. How,
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So I do adhere to the little dance between calories consumed and calories burned. There's a relationship there that must be maintained, and it's a very simple equation.
I saw a really impressive photo that you posted, Doug, online where you were sitting on Steve's shoulders flexing.
They look like statues.
And it was unbelievable. I was so impressed and proud. I was like, amazing.
Thank you.
Hard work and beautiful.
Thank you.
You seriously though, Doug, you have muscles on top of your muscles. Like each muscle, like if this wasn't already stolen by somebody, most people won't know. So I'll pretend like I just made this up. You are the definition of definition.
Oh, see the love you just did there.
Yeah, but that's a steal. People will catch me. They'll know who that's from. Some people will know who that is. But you are also, and I'm sorry that the sun is coming down into your eyes.
This condo I have here in Toronto is all glass on one side, and it faces west, as you might imagine. So,
Yes.
so I feel like I'm 4 inches away from the sun itself. Like, yeah. So I'm hiding behind the kitchen island in hopes of like you may able to make out my face, but this sun right now, that's coming through the blinds. That's how bright it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I can't. I'll just here. Here. Let's play down here. Okay, that's better.
Oh. Doug, is that your knees we're seeing?
Those are my knees. I'm wearing short pants. I'm not wearing underwear. I mean, I am wearing. Oh God. let me start over.
Okay. It's virtual meetings. You can wear what you want.
Dear sakes. Don't you guys have questions about something else?
David, are you wearing underwear?
I'm wearing underwear. It's a business at top and then cut off shorts. You know.
Great.
Gee.
Good enough.
I can show you my knees. You know.
Easy.
All right, I guess it's these days. All right, there's my knees. There it is.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
I show you guys my knees, but nobody wants to see that, and then they would know I'm not wearing pants.
Come on, baby.
Oh, wow. There's no need for that.
No need. All right. Belinda agrees with you guys. They think this is very funny. Doug, what's up with Hocus Pocus 2?
Oh, I don't know. Hocus Pocus 1, of course, is playing in high rotation on television again this month, as it always does. And with it has come a whole bunch of conjecture about that Hocus Pocus 2 rumor that has been going on for 7 years now. So I hope and pray that it does happen. That would be great. And if so, it would have to start with the three witches being in talks first and get their contracts in place before they come to the cast, the kids and me. But if offered, are you kidding? I would kill to be back in my Billy Butcherson look again in a film. Now I'm going to tell you something. I did get back into my Billy Butcherson look recently, makeup, costume, everything from the original movie. And it looked like 3 minutes had passed in the last 27 years. I looked exactly the same as the movie. And it was for a charity event that is hosted by Bette Midler's charity, the New York Restoration Project. They're doing a Halloween special. And if you, and all of us from the cast have come back to join Bette in a little fun hoo-ha that is Hocus Pocus themed for Halloween. And she pulled in a bunch of huge names to also guest on this charity special, including Elvira, who's hosting it.
Wow.
And Glenn Close, Meryl Streep, Martin Short, the list goes on, Adam Lambert, the list goes on and on. She got a cavalcade of names to show up in this event. So you can get tickets. It's only $10 to view this on October 30th. But if you go to the website right now, you can get tickets at nyrp.org. That's New York Restoration Project, nyrp.org. And click on tickets, and they'll send you a link when the time comes.
Great. We'll add that to the description box of this video shortly.
And yes, cool, great. And you'll see me as Billy Butcherson again for the it looked no. I took pictures and a little bit of video that I put on my socials before this airs. But it's going to be good fun.
How did it feel to be back in that prosthetic, and how did it feel?
Right. It was my original costume they pulled off of a dummy that was on display, and my original wig that had the same exact. They took it off me on my last day, and it went right back on me 27 years later. It's like it looks exactly. Whoever made the hairspray for that wig deserves all the kudos in the world, because it held.
Wow.
So you were able to zip right back into your costume after 27 years.
I haven't changed my body, same size, same measurements, everything exactly the same. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. We're actually going to get Cirroc to wear his old stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
From when...
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I got to do a lot of exercises to get.
And the purple and red polka dots everywhere.
Hey, weren't you 13 back then too? Are you?
Yeah, exactly. Good luck trying to fit in that stuff.
No.
So David, we only have a few minutes left, by the way, guys. But David, you live up in Toronto, right?
I do, yeah.
So you guys are dealing with the pandemic a lot less, so you probably have a little bit more production going. Have you done any work or gotten any chances to do anything, or have you just gone on fun vacations, or what have you done in between the seasons?
It's changed. We were in a total lockdown for until about May, June, and then things started to open up. I've largely been doing, I also write, so I've been doing a lot of writing. I can be a little bit of a loner, so it's like me on my bike, or me on the slack line in the park, or me at my computer, having backyard visits with friends. It's been a sort of a largely quiet and introspective time. And when there was rumor of like smaller sets starting to gear up in July, August, and then talk of the bigger sets starting because we have a number of big shows that shoot here in Toronto, and those things have started to happen. So it's exciting, and I think after this time of so much quiet and so much separation, that I'm really excited to go back to work and see my beautiful Discovery family who I missed, and see lovely Dougie, who has been such a huge ally. Like, if I'm going to do this job, the fact that I've been able to work with Doug and learn from the best in the world, and have his leadership and his unbelievable support and his allyship on set. Like, if you think for a second, based on everything you know about Doug, how wonderful would it be to work with Doug? It is that wonderful and more. He is such a remarkable singular talent, and our dynamic is one that I cherish and am protective of, and I have so much fondness for. And he's been such a bright light through this process of like insight and learning and conversation and allyship. So,
and likewise for Davey too. God, what a godsend that man is.
Doug, I know you hear these kind of compliments all the time, but does it ever get old? It doesn't seem like it would.
How could I ever get tired of someone? Great. Oh, stop that. That's how boring. No, are you kidding? I love it.
That's really cool. And Dave,
as humbling as it is too, and it's hard. I can't say, you know what, you're so right. I can't.
I agree.
You know why I am that wonderful. Thanks, everyone.
Well, I've never had the chance to work with you, Doug, but the conversations we have and the way people talk about you and what I've witnessed with my own eyes, I think you're really one of the humblest, most accessible, really down-to-earth superstars that I've had a chance to talk to. And I think that you're setting a good example for people out there to be involved, to get to know other actors, to not isolate yourself into a bubble of your own ego, and just caring about people. And I think that really registers and shows for me.
Oh, well, me too, you, Cirroc. We'll be on set together one day for something. Maybe another Space Command.
Cirroc, I've gotten to work with Doug once or twice before, and you are missing out. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. Oh man, so fun. It's just the best. Boy, oh boy.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And that's one thing that we actually talked about when we interviewed Bob Picardo. He mentioned how giving you are in a scene, and that's one thing that a lot of people who don't understand acting. Some actors want to hog up the whole scene and want to overshine and overpower their fellow actor, and then some are very giving, and they're like setting it up for you to shine and for you to give your lines and be the star of that moment. And I think that that's a kind of unselfishness that you approach acting with. You're not trying to outshine people. You're actually trying to uplift people, and I think that's a credit to a great actor.
Well, thank you. I think that's in human relationships in general, isn't it? If we're always looking out for someone else's needs, then if all of us are doing that, then everyone's needs will be met.
Right. A penultimate question, David. You're obviously a young man of like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
And we truly hope. I mean, you do yoga. You do. I already forgot the line thing between the trees. Yeah, but when you mentioned it, I recognized it. You seem like an absolutely wonderful human, and you're doing alien work and alien makeup. I'm hoping that we're going to get more decades of you working, just like we've had with Doug, where we've gotten to enjoy decades and decades of his work. And everybody loves to work with him. Everybody loves to talk with him and meet him and talk about him. And it really seems like you're on that kind of trajectory. Is there something that you're kind of specifically doing or focusing on to try to make that happen? Are you just really honing on your acting craft? Are you doing the Drew Carey method of just try to be everybody's best friend so that you're the kind of person people want to work with? Is it just kind of taking notes when you're next to Doug and seeing what he's doing?
I honestly feel like it's a bit of all of those things. Definitely, I'm working closely with a master of the craft, so I'm always watching. Doug, I'm always watching you.
I thought that was you at the window the other day.
What?
I thought that was you in my bathroom window.
The interesting thing about prosthetics, and I'm only like year 3 into this experience, which I never expected, but as it's sort of unfolding, I'm becoming more and more excited about it, is I think it's very easy to romance about, it would be so cool to work on prosthetic. It would be so neat and unique, and it is all of the cool things, but there's a whole part of it that no one romanticizes because it's the challenging parts and it's the discomfort and it's the early hours and the end of your day and the mindset you have to maintain and sort of like the isolation when you're on set of sort of being behind this wall. and it sort of summons these parts of you. So I think to be good at the job, you have to get good at the performance aspect. You have to get good at the sort of interacting aspect and the mindset aspect of it. You have to be focused. You also have to get the acting piece, obviously, because it's a sort of a different experience. So I think you have to touch on all of those things to be able to do well at it. And so I find myself continually learning. If I watch a performance, I'll give myself a note. I'll be like, oh, remember this next time for Linus, or Doug will say something, and I'll be like, oh, right, and understand that energy more, and actor stuff, blah 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 blah. But it's like right now, I just am soaking it all in and paying attention, but also loving every minute of it, even the challenging moments.
And do you see why David's a writer? Isn't that?
Yes.
There's a gift with words, child.
We all just kind of stopped and listened.
I know. I could listen to it all day. I know.
Very quickly, Michael Parker has some good compliments to Cirroc about The Visitor and wishes you good luck, Doug. And one them R.S. Bryson, special thanks to them. I'm not really sure what that handle means, but I just read it. Cirroc, do you have any final words before we run?
I do have a final little curiosity in my head. When we finished Deep Space Nine, Avery Brooks was sad that he wasn't able to take the baseball that was sitting on his desk. That somehow, in the end of the production, it disappeared, and that would have been the one thing he wanted to keep as a memento of his experience. What would be the thing that you would keep as a memento of your experience on Star Trek?
Awesome question.
That's a great question.
See?
Yeah. See why we have him around? For me, I already did in season 1. My Kelpien makeup, when it's applied every day, it goes on in 4 different pieces, and they blend the edges, and it becomes one big thing that I'm socked into. At the end of the day, they slice it up the back, and it all comes off as one piece. I saved one of those, and it's on a life cast of me now back home. So that's a treasured piece for me. But as far as props go, the one thing I really want to keep is my Delta badge. They're kept under such lock and key. I mean, you can't. The prop department is very protective of all the stuff. We can't pilfer any of that. It's very, very well policed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would seem to answer.
Prop is short for property. So that's when you actually think about what it actually means, their property.
It's their property, not mine.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. So sorry that it really. Sorry, I stepped on you there, David. What was your answer?
I was going to say same. But I would like to get at some point the Linus head with the eyes, and I think the communicator, the badge, would have the most meaning for all kinds of reasons. But again, you don't even entertain that notion because they are, swept away and blah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So, Doug, they can keep the shoes. You don't want the shoes.
Actually, I do have. I have something even. I don't know if it's going to be of any value one day. Maybe even more valuable. I have the original prototype boots that were made out of light blue neoprene.
Wow.
Kind of a
Wow.
They're a foamy material, but they're in the same exact shape. So they were my practice walk-around boots. They gave me those first when the cobbler was building these, just to see, can you walk in them? Are they going to fit? And so I kept those as my practice pair. So I have those in a very guarded place as well. There's only one of those, only one pair of those. They've made several pairs of my black, my uniform boots.
Nice.
Cirroc, that was kind of a half applause and half evil genius. Oh, really?
I love that he's thinking. He's already ahead of the game. He's like, I've got this, I've got that. So you're thinking ahead of the game, and I like that. I would only add to the list, guys, that your actual uniforms, if you could find a way to pilfer that at the very end.
I know.
That's my suggestion.
As an old pro. All right. Well, we do have to run. Doug and David, thank you so much for giving us such a big chunk of your time. And Doug, thank you so much for battling the sun for us.
I wish
We've been in that battle with you. We're rooting for you.
I know this. I wish that my entire wall wasn't glass. I swear, even with the blinds down, it's just blazing. You can burn my retinas out.
You say that now, but in the winter you'll enjoy.
I'll enjoy the extra warmth.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you all for joining us at home, David and Doug. You guys are amazing. We love talking with you. We love talking about you when you're not around, and it's almost always good. And we're rooting for you guys. We're rooting for your careers. We're rooting for Discovery and Cosmo, even though we know that he's already done.
Yeah, it's done.
And thanks to everybody who's been making comments. I've been watching as they scroll by, and it's such lovely words from all of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, and early happy birthday to Rachel, whose birthday is on November 2nd. I saw a comment go by from her.
Okay.
Rachel.
There's a Rachel birthday out there?
Yes.
Cool. All right, happy birthday, Rachel. I was looking for it, but yeah, it was probably a while ago. Great. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. And everybody at home, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for supporting Discovery and for all the awesome comments. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to keep it like this so we can watch David do this forever. A little workout. Okay.